Hey guys, I want to talk today about what it means to have a deal breaker in your relationship, where your partner does this and you're out of here. So many people, myself included, have spent so much time thinking about when you're getting into a relationship early on, this is a deal breaker for me, and when this happens, I don't accept this and I'm out. Or more likely, when you're in a relationship for a long time, you start wondering, at what point am I going to break? At what point can I tolerate no more of this and I'm out of here? So I want to make a comparison with two things. We're going to talk about Sex and the City and children, because those things just naturally go together, you know? So let's talk about Sex and the City first. I've recently been into this show, and yeah, I know I'm like 15 years late, right? But here I am, and I noticed that the women seem really shallow, at least to me, and I enjoy it. It's an entertaining show, but there's like this, my girlfriend and I, we were just talking about how they eject from relationships so easy for the stupidest thing. It's like one of them was like, this guy is great, but he has a noisemaker machine at night. Oh no. And Samantha was dating like this model guy, and she's like, oh, it's amazing, and she's all horny and ready to have sex, and he wants to tell her his last name or something like that, and she just kind of and like loses it and rolls over. And it's like, you're giving up on relationships for things like this, these deal breakers, where we're kind of conditioned through TV shows, through just the illusion that we're holding ourselves to some high moral standard, where I know what I want, and if somebody does this, then that's not for me and I'm out of here. Now look, there's totally merit to having a preference, and you don't need to do anything you don't want. You can have a preference, and if someone doesn't meet that preference, go the other way. But it's a lot different than conditional versus unconditional love. And I think what a lot of people are doing is having conditional love for their wife or husband. Now, early on in dating, date one, date two, it's much easier to leave if somebody does something that you don't like or isn't compatible with you. But if you've committed to someone for the rest of your life, you're married to this person, you know, you really go deep with this person, then it's a different story. Now I'm going to talk about children for a second. So if you have kids, I don't have kids, so I can only imagine, but you know, I can relate to this kind of love. If you have kids, do you love them conditionally or unconditionally? Most people find it easy to love their children unconditionally. So your kid could literally slap you, burn your house down, and throw food in your face. You're probably, even though you might be mad, still going to love them. Nothing can take away your love. Now, why don't we show up like that in our romantic relationships? It's like, my partner does this thing and I don't like it, so I'm going to withhold my affection, or I'm going to punish them, or I'm going to be passive aggressive, and I'm going to start wondering, if this happens enough, I'm going to start questioning, do I really want to be here? Is it really what I want? Or worse is that you get a level below that and you start planning your escape. If they do this one more time, I'm out of here. I've done that. I've had those thoughts. Or, again, because I don't have kids, I haven't done this, but I'm well aware that a lot of people do this, is when the marriage is falling apart and you have kids, you start planning. When the kids turn 18 and go off to college, then I'm out of here. And you have a plan even. How fucked up is that? You have a plan to leave the thing that you're committed to, and you pretend to be committed. So that's the difference between the unconditional love we have for our kids and the conditional love that we pretend is unconditional for our partner, but really, if they don't do the thing that we require, even though it's really reasonable, we hide behind this wall that it's reasonable to want this from our partner. It's reasonable to ask them to stop doing this. I've had so many people come to me and be upset because their partner wouldn't do something like give them the password for their email and their Facebook, or wouldn't cut communication with a certain person. Now, it's okay to have a preference. You don't want your partner to do that, all right? And this is where the divergence happens. And here's what it looks like. If you have a preference for something, what it looks like is that I am happy. I am feeling good. I'm in love just with life. I love myself. I love my partner. And I know that I prefer it this way. And so I make a request sometimes. But whether my partner fulfills that request or not has nothing to do with how happy I am. I'm just trucking. I'm just going on my life. I'm happy, and you're invited to participate in it, and it's better if you're here because I love you. Life is so much better with you. But if I didn't have it, my happiness doesn't go away because I'm not finding my own worth and my own happiness through the way that you act. And so if you feel like there's a deal breaker with your relationship, then it means that your love has a condition to it. And some people get really upset when they hear this. No, it doesn't. I love my husband or wife no matter what, but I just won't take this. Aha. That's your mind, that's your ego trying to convince you that it's okay to put up this wall. You can see why it would do that. It benefits the mind and the ego, right? To have a good reason to have standards in place that people must conform to. And if they don't, they're out of here. What about your children? You don't do that with your children, do you? Your children could steal from you, kick you, and you still love them. That kind of love, if you can get there with your partner, ride or die. My girlfriend likes to call it ride or die. And anytime I start acting in a way that feels like you didn't conform to my standard, sometimes she'll bring up ride or die. And it just reminds me, it's a very loving reminder that we're here. We've chosen to be in this relationship. Now, it's okay to choose not to be, but that's where that second path comes in. It's not, I'm going to leave this relationship because you didn't give me what I want, and so I'm not happy, and so I'm going to seek my happiness elsewhere. Fuck that. Your relationship is doomed. If you leave a relationship because your preferences have changed, you know what you want, and this isn't it. You're happy here. You just know that there's more for you, and you can grow more elsewhere. Something like that. Then you can leave your relationship with love. You can even be upset and leave with hatred, but in a way, it's no, fuck that. You wouldn't leave with hatred. What I'm trying to say is that you don't have to leave with hugs and kisses. You could, if things are miserable for you, you could still leave. But the point is, you're not leaving a situation where you feel it's impossible to be happy in order to seek a situation where you think it could be happy. Because wherever you go, you take yourself with you. If you're not capable of being happy now, you're not going to be able to do it in another relationship. And so stop requiring that your partner do something or not do something. Stop that shit. Because you don't do that of your children. You might pull your hair out if your children don't listen to the orders you give them, but if they don't, you're still going to love them. And that's the kind of love that you need to have in your relationship in order to make it work, if it's not working right now. It's all about the commitment to continue to progress. I'm going to leave you with one other final thought here, and that's on forgiveness. What does it mean to forgive? Again, let's go back to if your child really hurt you, kicked you, and smacked you, and stole from you, took the car and crashed it. Do you need to forgive them to love them? No. If you really love your child, there's no forgiveness necessary because you never took your affection, you never took your love away, and so you need to forgive to give it back. They don't need to do anything to require forgiveness. They just are, and you love them, and there's nothing to forgive. We don't do that as much with our partners. We have to forgive them because they wrong us, so our mind says, and so we're over here and we have to decide, am I going to continue? Is that a deal breaker and I'm going to leave? And we've already talked about that. And the alternative, some people think, and this is wrong, is that the alternative is to forgive and move forward. But from that point of view, we're acknowledging that we took our love away and that we need to forgive and that we're righteous and we're good. We're a good person to forgive them for what they did. Oh, you did so bad, but it's okay. I'm going to love you anyway. That's kind of fucked up, isn't it? What if you didn't have to forgive? Because it's not possible to remove your love. Unconditional love is not possible to remove. Even if you're not together, even if you're divorced, even if you haven't seen them in decades, you can still love them. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I'm going to put a couple of links here that you may want to check out. One of them is for a free Facebook group where you can connect with other people who are actively developing their relationships and improving themselves. If you want to ask some questions, get some feedback, and just find some help with a similar community, then that's a great place to start. Second is if you're ready to take action now and you really want to get some help because things are kind of slipping, then we're offering over the next few days some free breakthrough calls. Now, there's no investment to get on the phone with one of our coaches. We'll spend some time. We're going to get clear on where you are, where you want to go, and how to bridge the gap. And if we can do it quickly, we're going to give you some tools and some techniques that you may find really helpful. Again, that's totally free. Check it out, and I'll catch you on the next one.